Beardo Benjo.
It is official. Microsoft have gone crazy with value proposition. Now, I'm saying this as someone who made a video yesterday whereby I was kind of unenthused about the reveal of the Xbox Series S, but I'm an open-minded guy, and I went forward and did some research and kind of looked into it, and it makes a lot more sense to me now today after Microsoft have come out with some more information, and kind of bits and tidbits have started to kind of fall in place in my head, and I've had some time to think about it and go, okay, yeah, I get this. It might not be for me, but for the people it is for, it is absolutely phenomenal. Value for money and value proposition, the likes of which I don't think I've ever really seen. So today, Microsoft came out and officially announced that the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X will launch on the 10th of November. UK price-wise, it will be £249 for the Series S and £449 for the Series X. In US dollars, it's $299 for the S and $499 for the X. So nice to see that we actually get a conversion rate and it isn't just a straight change the pound sign for a dollar sign or vice versa. So straight out the gate, for me, the S pricing being confirmed at that point is very good for what they've now shown that it can do. It isn't a 4K gaming machine, it's upscaled to 4K gaming, but when you think about the amount of people that actually have 4K TVs, it starts to make sense who this is for. This is for people who aren't interested in necessarily just 4K gaming. They still want ray tracing, they still want faster loading times, they want a higher refresh rates. You're gonna get that with the Series S. The only downfall for some people might be that it doesn't have a disk drive, but the reasoning for it not having a disk drive all links into Microsoft's bigger grand plan, and I've said this in a couple of videos before, but their big grand plan really is Xbox Game Pass. Now, not only have they today announced these two machines landed on our doorstep on the 10th of November, and a quick note before I move on, the Series X is still the absolute monster if you want all-out, impressive next-gen gaming, and I still think Sony have a task ahead of them now to get their pricing right. At this point, for me personally, Sony still have the best offering because they've shown some games that interest me. Still probably not enough for me to lay out money on launch day, but they've done more than Microsoft in terms of the gaming proposition. So for me, they're still in a good position, but they need to get that pricing right because this is very attractive. Microsoft are lacking some kind of big hitters straight out of the gate on launch day, things like Halo that are now delayed. But if you start to look at what I'm about to talk about now, Game Pass, it kind of all makes sense. So not only did they show this off today, this confirmation of pricing and launch date for the Xbox, they also dropped a couple of tweets. This is the first tweet, which is basically just what I talked about there. They confirmed that the pricing will be $449 for the X and $249 for the S. Release date, November 10th. Pre-orders start September 22nd. So, 2 weeks away. Pre-orders will go live, which is very, very exciting, I'm sure, for a lot of people. We now have a very kind of clear-cut understanding of Microsoft's launch plans and run-up to launch plans. We just need to see what the launch titles are, but as a side note, Assassin's Creed actually moved its launch date up a week to now fall in line with the Xbox. So at the very least, Assassin's Creed is going to be sitting there on launch day, ready to play on a sparkly new Xbox console, whether it's the S or the X. So that's very exciting. This wasn't the only tweet though. Another tweet went out which has absolutely blown my mind, and I'm already a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass. I already see the huge value in it. I don't play it on an Xbox. I play it on my PC, but that's the joy of Game Pass. That's what Microsoft are trying to do. They're trying to get you involved in their architecture and infrastructure. As long as you're engaging with some form of their product, they don't mind how or where you do it. Whether you're playing on xCloud, on a phone or tablet, or PC via Game Pass on PC, or on Xbox, they don't mind. They don't care where you're playing, as long as you're involved and you're putting money into their system. This second tweet has blown my mind. All EA Play games, which is a separate subscription service, are now going to be included in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Xbox Game Pass for PC. And they finish the tweet by saying, "That is all," because that's all they need to say. That is huge. In EA Play, there's probably around 60 games, things like Mass Effect, Dead Space. You can see here, Madden, FIFA, Battlefront, Sims, Skate. If you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you now have access to all of those, or you will have access to all of those because it's starting later this year. So now, Microsoft almost aren't about the console anymore. The Series S is great for people who want a next-gen experience but aren't fussed about 4K. A cheap price point, it'll sit nicely under the TV. Yeah, it's not got a disc drive, but if you sign up to Game Pass, you're going to get all first-party Microsoft titles, a whole slew of third-party titles that join Game Pass because it's just a great offering, and now all the EA Play titles. So for $249 outright, and then I think $10.99 a month, you're in a great place for games. You have more games than you will probably ever be able to play. And if you say, "Oh, I want to see them in 4K and I want to see them running in an even higher frame rate and I want even more teraflops," then yeah, you fork out a little bit more money. That's for the bigger ticket price purchaser. That's the kind of, I make quite a bit of money and I want the best gadget that's physically possible person. They'll buy the X. And again, I would advise sign up to Game Pass because the content and the amount of value you get is absolutely insane. But that's not the only information that came out today. They also dropped out this, and now this is, I haven't got the US conversion for this, I'm using all the UK pound-based ones. But they dropped out this. Your all-inclusive pass to Xbox from $20.99 a month for 24 months. You'll get a console, a subscription to Game Pass Ultimate, and there's no upfront cost. I'm bowled over by it. I don't need a new Xbox. I don't need an Xbox Series S. I don't need an Xbox Series X. My PC is fantastic. It's got a 2080 i7 9700K processor. This thing plays games fantastically. I don't need to run out and buy a next-gen console at this point because I'm happy with my PC gaming, and this is where I play Game Pass. But my god, am I tempted to get an Xbox Series S at 21 quid a month as just a great 1440p 120 hertz refresh rate box that I can put under my telly and experience all these Game Pass games. The value proposition here is mind-blowing. If they market this correctly, this is going to capture the hearts and minds and souls and wallets and purses of everybody this Christmas. And this is something I didn't convey in my video yesterday. My video yesterday, some people took it negatively, and it wasn't meant to be a negative video. It was my opinion of next gen. Next gen doesn't feel like it's ready because we haven't seen enough games to kind of warrant the coming of next gen. The prices and the information have been coming through quite a trickle. It hasn't been a stream of information. It's been a trickle. We get a little bit every now and then. So next gen for me hasn't been exciting. And I gave my reasons why. You know, I'm primarily playing PC now, etc., etc. But this is exciting. This is a very exciting proposition now that they've given us more information. That Xbox Series S is going to sell like absolute hotcakes to everyone looking for an upgrade this Christmas, especially kids. Younger kids in a household with, maybe a couple of parents and a child. A lot of kids have TVs in their rooms these days, but very few have a 4K TV. I think the statistics actually still say that very few families and home units have 4K TVs. So this Series S that upscales to 4K and can play media in 4K isn't for the 4K gamer. It's for a higher FPS, next-gen experience, faster load times. This thing's going to be better than the Xbox One X. It's going to be better than the Xbox One S. It's a stepping stone into the full-blown next-gen, but you could argue that you don't need that full-blown next-gen of the Xbox One X when this thing does more than your current console. And you can get it for 21 quid a month for 2 years on a subscription-based service that gives you access to Xbox Game Pass, which is filled with hundreds of games, including EA's games now. If they market this right, they will absolutely dominate the Christmas market. I'm just saying it now. I used to work in games retail, and this is the kind of thing that people would just jump at the chance to grab, especially that finance option. You know, £21, there's no interest on that. You're getting an Xbox Series S, I assume, for that £21 price point. I think it's 24 or maybe a bit more, maybe the £30 mark for the Xbox One X, but they do run a similar offer. It's just fantastic. They have nailed this. The pricing is right. This inclusion of the EA games in Game Pass, and Game Pass gets better and better and better, is fantastic. I'll reiterate again, Microsoft don't care where you're playing their games, they just want you to play their games and subscribe to Game Pass. That is their main focus, that's what they want you to do. This is a no-brainer. I want one and I don't need one. I want one just to stick in the bedroom and have a better Xbox. Currently up there we have a original OG chunky Xbox, and we use that as a Netflix machine or a Disney Plus machine, whatever we want to watch in the bedroom. But this will be a better machine, and if I'm sitting up there and my wife's doing something in the front room, it's a better machine to game on, and it'll cost me 21 quid a month, and it will cover my Game Pass subscription, which I already pay for. I am impressed with the offering. I'm still not massively excited about next gen, but I cannot ignore this offering because it's very impressive. What do you think? Is this enough to win you over to grab one of these, or are you still team PlayStation? I want the PlayStation at the moment more because of the game offering, but now I can't ignore the value proposition of this. It is impressive. What do you think? Let me know in a comment. If you enjoyed, please hit like and all that stuff, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm staring at this constantly because it's just great value. All the EA Play games as well coming to Game Pass end of this year. If you're not signed up to Game Pass at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Do it. It's just such good value. I'm going to need to buy an Xbox One S. I said Xbox One again. Xbox Series S. I still hate the naming convention.